Kashmir. Just know how to get a producer excited, don't ya? Yo, what's up, guys? My name is Sam World, and today we're looking at a brand new plugin. I haven't been excited to try out this plugin since Sausage Fattener came out, and it seems like all plugins are going the route of that. Repackaging of saturation, a bunch of lo-fi effects, pretty graphics, which haven't really excited me, but this one looks like something that is very interesting. The manual looks really nice. From there, you have a written letter from Kashmir acknowledging the fact that this is not going to sound as good as other reverb plugins out there, but it's going to be the most practical. Now, I've been working on a song, and I think I'm almost to the point where I'm like,
I'm a renegade.
okay, so let's open up the Kashmir Reverb. Now, my first thing with this reverb is obviously the I forgot to authorize it. Wait, what? No. Not a huge fan of W8 production, but it's just because of back in the day. About making you sound better. Okay, so at the top left, we have settings, which a lot of us won't know what they do, but you got to pre-delay diffusion and make the reverb sound a little bit more washed out. Width, which is good, you know, mono reverb versus stereo. We have three types of reverbs. We have a hall, a plate, and a spring. Spring being more of the older style reverb. Then you got your plate, which is good for vocals and synths. To the right of that, we have a mod depth, mod speed. A lot of times reverbs will get modulated by a chorus, the timing, the pitch. Bottom left looks like we have the duck feature, the fade in duck, and a gate. This is the main thing that's going to make this reverb different from the rest. You have a tone manager, which says stop transient on it. So I'm assuming it makes the initial incoming signal punchy. And then it looks like we have special effects like a reverse and then an octave up, which I saw in the ad. My interest because I didn't know people would layer up an octave and put a ton of reverb on the lead. Okay, we're gonna cue this the reverb so that we don't get too much low end information on the lead. There we go. Now there is a ducking feature here, which I find cool. Let's see how it works. So we're gonna pull this down, and then we're gonna add the duck, which would be here. So it is doing it. We can also control the release of the duck, which I find really cool. I thought it was just going to be one knot. Let's put a high length. It can be David Guetta. Okay, cool. So with this sound, I think I would go more for a plate reverb since it's a synth sound. And the track sounds kind of old school because the whole theme of it is an illegal rave is taking place in London. Now to the right of that, I just noticed we have a fade-in duck. I really don't know what that's doing. Let's see, fade-in duck lowers the reverb volume only at the start of each transient. So for 20 bucks, this is so much better than some of the stuff out there because it seems like a geek made this. I'm not using it as a derogatory term. I'm talking about someone that actually knows production to that extent where they can write a good song and they know all the technical side of mod depth. I don't really see myself using that, but if you guys want to know how it sounds like, notice how like the sound, it's a little kind of like it's detuned.
I'm a renegade.
I'm not liking the high end in it. I feel like it needs to sound a little bit more like firme, you know, composed, full. Time ago, I had a mixing mentor, and the best advice I ever got from him was, if you put reverb on stuff and people say, how does your track sound dry and so alive? And you know you did a good job with the reverb. This has that vibe to it as I'm hearing it through my monitors. And I really like the practical side of this because if I wanted to do a fade-in duck, what I would have to do is I would have to make a new channel like in the plate reverb. I would have to set up a compressor, click, and then find the lead itself, which is the main lead. And then once you find it, then you put it on, let's say it's this, and then you will lower the threshold. From there, you can pick a full duck or a fade-in duck, and you have everything inside of the plugin, which I think it's really cool. Saves a lot of time and very practical. From there, we have a gate. Now, I don't think I would personally use a gate for this, but the idea is that the gate doesn't allow the reverb out until the threshold is hit. Like a bodyguard decides who gets into the club. We also have a de-esser here in case you have like, I guess, a vocalist or like a very hello class. Today we're gonna sex it up. Okay, and then the last thing I want to use is the reverse. So I don't know how the reverse works. I don't know if it takes like a sample of the lead, but I do have my own reverse here, which sounds like.
I'm a renegade.
We're going to put it here, and I want it here. I'm assuming we're going to have to automate that, so let's do a configure. Oh, we got everything there. Okay, let's see, reverse. There it is. Show you. So it raises the volume of the reverb. So let's say we put a note here like this. So I guess I would have the attack set somewhere like there. Oh, there it is. And then with the attack. Ay, Kashmir, cálmese, güey. I don't see myself using that one. Maybe it's just the wrong reverb that I have, but there you go. Now for vocals, usually you either go plate or hall. That seems to be the more popular. So for this, just to change it up, we're going to go hall. But I'm very excited to actually use the full duck on these vocals because I kind of want maybe something of a swell. So I'm also going to use a bit of the reverse. I don't want to go too David Guetta-ish, but just enough to where, like, you know, it kind of covers a good amount of the sound space that we have. Again, we're going to set a bit of a pre-delay. A little too much for my taste. We're going to move that down. Again, we're going to EQ the reverb. We have to EQ that. I don't like too much of the highs. I'm going to add that octave up just to see how it sounds like.
I'm a renegade. Renegade.
Gonna mono. Let's fast forward over here.
I'm a renegade.
Now notice there's some reverbs which we haven't explored, so let's see how many presets we actually get. And it looks like, oh my god, we have some vocal ones. So why don't we try some of these? Let's see, we want maybe a vocal, male vocal. We also have some reverb for like the drums, which is great because I actually have a track where I could use some reverb on the clap. Okay, maybe we go with the smaller one, dude. Oh no, underwater ones, nope. Okay, mono. Now I'm team put reverb on the master to make your build-up just sound a little more like not as strong, so that when the drop comes or when the little thing before the drop happens, it sounds powerful. Now I wonder if he has something like for build-ups, which would have been great actually if you think about it, like a little endless smile inside of the KSHMR Reverb. It doesn't seem like we have any, so what I'm gonna do is just use this mix on it and see what's up.
I'm a renegade. 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 I'm a renegade.
Let's add a bit of duck. I'm curious.
I'm a renegade. I'm a renegade.
Wanna be my P, what's up? So what do I think about the plugin? Well, I have a little rating system that I'm going to use. The first one is the Moog score. Now, if you ever owned or used or touched a Moog synthesizer, you know how it feels, how it looks, super high quality. The KSHMR Reverb actually gets a pretty high score. It's going to get 4.9 out of 5. Moogs. It's a very well thought out plugin, and while I'm not a fan of WA production based plugins, this one actually looks like KSHMR had a lot of say in what he wanted in it. All the knobs look good. You can automate almost every parameter. That's like a big extra. The way the waveform looks, the way the EQ works, the fact that you have this accessible and you can look at it and you have visual reception is huge. And that's why it gets 4.9 Moogs out of 5. The only other 0.1 that could come is if you made it in my favorite color, which is blue and black. The next score is the sausage score, which is how well did the KSHMR Reverb do what it was intended to do. And to me, the KSHMR Reverb isn't trying to be the best sounding reverb out there. It's trying to be the more practical one. If you've ever bought anything in life where something is expensive and looks nice, but it's very hard to use, face plant. Then you have the older, more simple counterpart, which is very easy to use. Which one do you find yourself gravitating more towards? Serum? And in this department, I can see the KSHMR Reverb being heavily used by a lot of people. So I rate it 4 out of 5 sausages. The reverb isn't the best, but if you're the type of producer that's just trying to crank out as many songs as possible, trying to play the social media game, trying to just stay relevant in today's age, I can see the KSHMR Reverb saving a lot of time. Next rating is the band score, bang for buck. And to be honest, this is a 5 out of 5. The KSHMR Reverb for $20 is a steal. It does so much that other more expensive reverb plugins don't do, like the Valhalla Vintage Verb, etc. Especially at this sale price. If it goes back up to 40, well, then the score will go down definitely to like 4 out of 5 bands. Don't get the 12-pack of Modelo that went up. Just get this reverb plugin and the last score I'm going to give this is the Shed score, which is pretty much overall how much fun I had utilizing the KSHMR Reverb. For this, I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 sheds. For the video, I was trying to be as energetic as I could, but as I was using this, honestly, it just wasn't exciting me too much. I'll be honest, for some reason, just the name KSHMR tied to it already makes me think EDM. So maybe I'm coming into this with that mentality. What do you guys think of the plugin? Did you buy it already? Are you going to buy it? Does it look something appealing to you? Are you willing to go the extra mile to utilize an Eventide style reverb, Valhalla Vintage Verb, and then do all the routing to get the ducking, the gates? Are you willing to sacrifice that to utilize the KSHMR Reverb? Now, if you're a new producer and the word buffer size doesn't mean anything to you, I recommend that you watch this video. You could be making your computer work extra when you're working on music, leading to you not using the plugins you want. So make sure to check it out to optimize your workflow. And as always, happy producing.